Hi everyone, and Happy New Year! This is Airbrush, your garage kit nerd, and in this video I will give you details about Modo colors and show you some paint results. Oh my god guys, we are finally in 2023! We survived 2022 despite everything that happened, and I really hope this year will be way much more positive. This is now a year I started this YouTube channel and I am so happy to have jumped this step. After some mental health issues, I decided to do something I always wanted, which is sharing my passion about model and garage kits. I am focusing now on garage kits and maybe will extend later, but so far I don't want to diversify. I think it is too early and will take too much time. Maybe you don't know yet, but it is still just a hobby for me and I have an actual work that requires a lot of time. I know I need to be more consistent in my way of posting if I want to grow my channel, but I am having so much fun sharing my projects that I am fine right now. And in addition, if you do enjoy watching my videos, I am the happiest garage kit nerd in the world. To be honest with you, I was really wondering how I should start 2023 and realized I had a lot of Modo paint I didn't have time to try last year and thought why not doing a detailed video about the brand, what's my opinion about it and how to use it. So if you know Modo colors already and you just want to see how it looks like, go directly in the series 1 minute, 1 color, I have uploaded them there. It is a review where there is no talk, just some paint applied on spoons and it lasts less than a minute. If you never used this brand before though, stay with me here. This video is for you guys. Allez, let's start. And here are the paintings and accessories I'm gonna use in this video. You can see that I have a surfacer from Modo, different paints, pearl colors, Phantom, Aurora, and a kit for Superchrome and Gold. I already did previous videos about paint testing, but just as a recap, I used transparent spoons, my IWATA HP-CH, and of course a mask, as the fumes of the paints are really harmful, especially when we talk about enamel and lacquer, so don't forget it. Remember a bit earlier in this video I said I didn't have time to test those paints. It is not quite entirely true. I wanted to try them, but there was a damn worldwide shortage of Modo thinner. This one. I went on all the websites possible, eBay, random e-commerce website, etc, and nada, nothing, yet. So not that I didn't have time, but more I didn't have what I needed. And I am sure some people will think, but why didn't you use another thinner? Yeah. Maybe let me start with this, the thinner. If you think you'll be able to use another thinner, let me stop you right now. You can't. Okay. You can, but just a very few paintings. And even Modo say don't do it, use our thinner. It is not only a marketing stuff, I guarantee you it is really true. And do you want to know how I know? Let me tell you a little story. A long time ago, a talented and beautiful garage kit nerds. Huh? What?
Amagon. Talented and beautiful?
What? This is a story. Better to put some magic in it. If we just put the reality, it would be super sad. Okay, let me be more realistic then. Can I resume? So, not so long time ago, a garage kit nerd acquired delightful purple paints from Modo Color. He was so excited to try them, but was missing one of the ingredients in his well-organized closet. So what again?
Are you sure you are talking about your closet? Because we can say everything, but organized, I don't think it is the proper word.
Come on, it's super organized.
What? You want me to show how it looks like?
I don't mind.
Okay, here it is.
See, that's organized with my own system, okay? I can perfectly find what I need. No me.
Yeah. Remember when you bought more sanding papers and then you found that you still had plenty? Or the time you needed 2 hours to find a filter for the spray booth? Or even the time that
Oh là là, ça va. Okay, can I continue? And Can you stop interrupting the story? Our friends here might get bored. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah. The garage kitten didn't have any Modo thinner. Happy now? And he went online to ask to different forums and communities if there was some replacement possible. A wise stranger gave him another recipe to have his pen potion ready and told him he could replace Modo thinner with some Mr. Color thinner. Enthusiasts, the garage kitten tried right away the new mixture, and it was a pure catastrophe. The liquid clotted and the paint was unusable. Boom, basically, when I mixed the Mr. Color thinner and the pearl colors, it had a bad reaction. And guess what? My airbrush got stuck with this. Yep, I practically fucked up my favorite IWATA in the process. It took me 3 hours to remove all the clotted paints and have it worked again. So I can tell you something, I'm not going to try anymore. And if any of you is still telling, but Mr. Color thinner is fine, you know what? I don't care. I will not use Mr. Color thinner with Modo colors. Period. I know, it doesn't seem to start very well. It's true, but you know me, I'm the god of clumsiness, so nothing to be surprised of. If you follow me for some time now, you know I will somehow break something, go in the wrong direction, have my airbrush stuck with clotted paints. That's my daily life. I know, it's sad. Anyway, why don't we look at those paints a little bit more closely? Something that I like with Modo is that they tell you the proportion of thinner and pressure for your airbrush you need to use. For the people who know, it is fine, but let me tell you, it takes a long time to figure those things out. Airbrushing is not an easy thing. Depending the size of the needle, the type of the airbrush, or even the paint itself, you will have to change your settings and it can be quite nerve-wracking. So I think it is very clever from Modo to give this information. Most of the paints have a ratio of 2.5 to 1, meaning 2.5 doses of thinner for 1 dose of paint. It is quite liquid and you'll need to be very careful when you apply the paint, otherwise you will have too much on your surface and it will make a mess. Only for the surfacer, Modo recommends a ratio of 3 to 1. When it comes to the pressure, here Modo recommends to use 1.2 kg per square centimeter, which is the equivalent of 17 psi, pounds-force for square inch, or 0.2 MPa megapascal. I give the different measures possible as your compressor might use only one of these measures. For example, mine is with MPa only. Okay, why don't we now prepare the paint and the spoons and start airbrushing? First, I will transfer the paint into small bottles like these to have it already ready. I really recommended you to do it, it is super convenient and you win a lot of time when you want to paint. Shall we? Now that I have my paints ready, I can prepare the spoon with the base colors. In my previous videos, I used 4 bases: white, black, silver, and transparent. Here, Modo usually compares the colors between white and black, so I will do the same. I tried the 2 other bases and it didn't show something interesting, so I decided not to put it in the video. If I may say, the paints with the transparent colors, especially the phantoms and the pearls, give a very bad finish. The result was very ugly, so I really don't recommend you to try. If you have transparent resin or plastic, go more with Mr. Color Crystal or SMS Pearls. Seriously. Okay, let's focus on those spoons now. My spoons are done, my bottles are ready, I can now show you how the different Modo paints looks like. I just want to stop maybe a few seconds before starting and show you how glossy is the surfacer and also the black. I was very impressed. It is the first time I find such glossy paint. You can see me and the camera in the reflection, it is really amazing. Now let's go try those paints. Before I show you the Superchrome kit, I want to give you a bit more details. What I really like with this kit is that Modo has already pre-thinned the paint, so you don't have to prepare it, which is really helpful. Modo also gives you some instructions on how to apply the paint, and it is also very clever, because if you are new to this, it is not obvious. So let me resume for you what they say. Step 1. Applying the first coat with the ultra black base. This step is very simple, nothing to worry about. As the paint needs to dry, you need to wait at least 10 minutes before applying the next coat.
This makes sense, no? I mean, you always need to let the paint dry at least a bit. I remember the first time you paint, you had absolutely no idea what you were doing and you masked on a paint that was not cured. What a mess.
Yeah. In the same time, if you don't try anything, you don't learn, right? So this type of comments, you can keep them for you. It doesn't help.
Allez, come on, this was a joke. And look, you try to explain to people how to do it right, for them not to face the same issue. You should be proud.
Well, okay, I give you that one. Anyways, for the second step, remember to wait at least 10 minutes, and then you apply the Superchrome coat. Be very careful for this step. There are a few things to have in mind. You need to have a higher pressure on your compressor. The paint is very liquid, doesn't need a lot of layers, and having a higher pressure will help you to apply more paint on a thinner coat. When you start, put your airbrush a little bit further than what you are used to, then gently press on your trigger to have a nice but not too strong airflow and pass quickly over the surface. You will see the color changing into a chrome. Once you see your reflection, just stop. Don't go further, you are done. Modo in its instructions say, and I quote, "Applying additional layers brings out more shine." It is absolutely not true. The more layer you will apply, the less shiny it will be, I guarantee you. I prepared 3 spoons with different layers, one with few layers, a second one with more, and a third one with even more layers. You'll see a bit later how different it looks. If you want to try by yourself, wait 10 minutes after you apply the first coat and then put your airbrush closer to the spoon and go a bit slower when you apply the paint. For each additional coat, you do the same. You wait 10 minutes, you go closer and a bit slower. I know I repeat myself, but be careful. It is a very thin paint, so don't overpaint, otherwise it will make a mess. You really need to apply thin layers and wait the paint to dry before applying new ones. For the final step, which is applying the ultra clear gold paint, you do the same. You wait at least 10 minutes. Here you reduce the pressure on your compressor and apply the paint the same way than with the Superchrome. Far from the spoon with very quick passes. And the more layers you want, the closer you get and the slower you paint.
Amagon, you forgot something. Yeah, before applying the ultra clear gold on the Superchrome, Modo recommends to use the soft close to gently brush the dust off.
Oh yeah, true, thank you. They even add some in the kit. Completely forgot. And it gives a shinier results also, so I really recommend it. Okay, it took a bit time, but it was necessary to explain how it works. Now everyone is up to speed, so let's have a look at those paints. And here are all the spoons I painted with Modo. I just want to do now a recap of the paints and give you my opinion. When I started to paint with Modo Pearl, I was not really happy with the finish, especially with the white. I had the feeling the colors were weak and not visible at all. At that moment, I literally said, okay, Mr. Crystal color is way better. Modo doesn't pass the test for me. But after looking carefully to my Mr. Crystal color spoons and comparing with the Modo Pearls, I realized that it is not entirely true. Definitely the green and the red could do better. I don't think they are really visible, but Mr. Crystal color tend to change the white base where Modo doesn't do as much. Let me show you. For Mr. Crystal color, you can see the white is not white anymore. It tends to take the opposite color of its paints. I think it is to make the red and the green, the blue, etc. more visible. The white base with Modo changed for sure, but it is not as strong as with Mr. Crystal color. When it comes to the black base, the pearls are really shiny and somehow the pigments are really small. I will not recommend to use the red or the green here neither though. I think Modo still has improvement to do with those colors. The red is not a red for me, it is more a pale Bordeaux that doesn't really do the thing. And the green has two big pigments and the result is not really smooth compared to the other colors. Concerning the Phantom, all of the colors are great. Really, I was super surprised of the results. It gives a really nice metallic aspect, way more than what you can have with the other paints. Here, not much to say, it is a really good paint and effect, so I know I will use them each time I need to give a strong metallic effect. Now, the Aurora colors. I like how it looks like on the white base. You have a strong blue and purple color with a nice and small shift of color. The pigments are really small and it really gives a nice and smooth effect. Though I wouldn't use much on a black base, it doesn't work for me. If you want to reproduce a shift color effect on a black base, I recommend to go with the SMS color shift. They are amazing and so far I didn't find better. To finish, here is the Superchrome and Gold. I have a mixed feeling with that one. I am in love with the chrome silver color. I mean, it is super chrome. That's the first time I have a paint giving such a good result. Now, I didn't try all the existing paints, but I am impressed. You can see here the 3 spoons I told about with more or less layers. You see that the more layer you have, the more silvery it is, but then the reflection becomes blur. If you look carefully, my reflection is okay on the right, but then deteriorates the further you go on the left. Now, the gold color, I am super disappointed. I was expected to find something better. I tried different passes also to see how it looks like, and none of them suits me. I really prefer here using the enamel from Tamiya or the gold paints from SMS. I think Modo has also some work to do to make something more realistic. I have to say I'm a huge fan of Modo. I mean, their Pro Mix series to paint the skin is for me the best color I have found. Now, would I recommend the paints I have tested on this video? I will be very honest. No, I am not going to give such a positive review. Don't get me wrong, the quality is okay and I know I will use them on my kits now I have them. But I still think that the negative points outweighs the positive aspects. For me, Modo is difficult to find and I think it is very expensive. The smell of their paints is really strong and every time I use the paints I need to ventilate my room way much more than with the other paints. And I am talking about hours. The thinner was out of stock for a very long time, more than 6 months, and it means you need to have all the times they're thinner, otherwise you won't be able to use their paints. And last point, which is the biggest for me, even after thinning the paint, the pigment got stuck in the bottles and you will have to take time to mix everything together each time you use the paint. I know it seems trivial, but I never had this issue before with any other paints and I don't like it.
Aragon, can I step in? I would like to say something too.
Sure, please.
From what I have seen, Modo is definitely not for beginner neither. The fact that the paints are very liquid, if you don't have good skill in Airbrush, you will have trouble. You can, if you want, put less thinner, it is possible, but I think you should start with other paints.
That's a very good advice. And what is the paint that you have in mind?
I would say Tamiya, or Mr. Color is not bad neither. Yeah.
Thank you for your comments, it was really helpful.
You are welcome.
I think on this note, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and have a better understanding of the Modo paints. Of course, I didn't go through everything, there is way much more colors and type, but don't worry, I will continue sharing the rest with the series 1 color 1 minute. If you have questions, don't hesitate to post on the comment section and I will be very happy to answer. And of course, if you like what I'm doing, take a few seconds to like, subscribe to my channel and click on this little bell to be informed when new videos arrive. If you want to know more, you can also subscribe to my Patreon where you find additional contents, high definition pictures, dedicated information, etc, etc. You see, I have changed a bit the way I edit my video and invited a new person, François.
Hi everyone.
Maybe you don't remember, but I told you we were a lot in my brand and François is one of them.
I am very glad I was the first one invited to speak on your channel, Amagon. It was really fun.
I am too, François. And you will come back, that's for sure.
I hope. Haha.
I wanted to give a bit more dynamism to my video. I have already few new guests in preparation for my next ones. Thank you very much for watching this video. Until the end. See you next time, and in the meantime, pin, sand and paint as much as you can. This was Amagon Rush, your Garage Kit Nerd.